Yes, what's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It is the starting 11 for tomorrow's game at home against Dundee United. We return to league action after the 2-1 defeat to Bayern Munich on Wednesday. So first of all, we're going to just briefly reflect on the game after having watched it back, and then we'll talk about Dundee United in more detail. So I watched the full 90 minutes back on Thursday. I think the game probably played out in a very similar manner to what you would have expected. Bayern Munich dominated for long spells, particularly in that first half. I think we defended relatively well in terms of our shape, and it wasn't like they were cutting us open at will and creating chance after chance. I think by the manager's own admission, the team were a wee bit passive though. I think we missed opportunities to press. We seemed comfortable just to sort of sit in the shape, and that might have been nerves. It might have been a bit of doubt in the players' mind, given the magnitude of the game, the quality of the team that we were playing, that they just didn't want to commit and go and really press at any time, particularly in the first half. So I think, obviously, it's a huge sucker punch to lose the goal before half time, but I think other than that, we actually looked okay defensively. Yes, we didn't offer enough, bar that Kuhn goal that was ruled out after 28 seconds. We didn't offer enough going forward in terms of even offensively when we're trying to get at Bayern Munich when they've got the ball. We did struggle with that, but I think second half, the huge disappointment is obviously losing the second goal. We leave Harry Kane unmarked, of all people. There's a few corners in the first half that were warning shots for us because Johnston had been with Kane at the back post and dealt with most of them. There was that one where he got free and he had the header right at the back post. He put it in the side net. Apart from that, we'd done okay with them. It was clear though that Bayern Munich were set up to get Kane free at those set pieces, and they did that. And I think it's really poor from our point of view to leave him unmarked. He had the freedom of the penalty area. A really good finish though. Side foot volley on his left foot, but that was probably the poorest mistake we made all night. And then that puts it to 2-0, and you think the game could maybe get away from us, the tie could get away from us, and Bayern Munich could go and add another couple of goals and make it 3 or 4. And then next week, if you're going to Munich next week, that trip would have become nothing short of a holiday. But credit to the team. I think we responded really well after that. I think watching it back, there's maybe two main factors in that. Of course, Maeda going through the middle for us sort of changed the dynamic of the game. He was going to press Manuel Neuer. He was giving us a lot more energy than Ida in terms of pressing and trying to close down Bayern Munich. I think potentially for Bayern Munich, a bit of a subconscious switch off. They were 2-0 up. They were probably thinking we've got the second leg to come next week. They've got a big domestic game themselves this weekend against Leverkusen. So maybe subconsciously just a wee bit of a switch off from them. But don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take anything away from us, because almost immediately after that second goal, we did respond really well. We started to create more. We started to be a wee bit calmer on the ball. And that can also be natural for us to sort of be a bit calmer and more composed after being 2-0 down. Maybe the nerves have subsided at that point, but I think we did grow into the game, and in that last 15-20 minutes we caused Bayern Munich quite a few problems. We arguably created more chances than they did against us for all their dominance earlier in the game. I think Maeda was brilliant through the middle in terms of, as I say, just changed that. Like, Neuer had to kick it long. There's a couple of times he nearly nicked it off him. He obviously gets the goal as well. He went round him just before the goal, tries to play it across to Jota. There was numerous moments where it looked like we maybe had Bayern rattled a wee bit. And the main thing is that we got that goal to get us back in the tie. Of course, on paper, the tie's still alive. It's not an absolute dead rubber. Next week, there's still something to go and try and play for. Don't get me wrong, it is going to be so difficult for us. In that arena against a team of that level, we know that nobody expects us to go there and win by 2 clear goals in the night to make the last 16. But the main thing is that we showed we can compete with them. They are the best team we've faced this season. It's the biggest club, not just the heritage and their history, but also the quality they had on the pitch. It is the toughest test that we've had so far this season, and we managed to compete. We managed to keep the tie alive just about. So we've got to take some sense of pride from that. Now, looking ahead to Dundee United tomorrow, they haven't had a game. In fact, since their last game, we've played 4 times, which is incredible. That's an incredible bit of information. When the manager said it today, I could hardly believe it. I know they're out the Scottish Cup after getting beat by Dundee, so they've had a huge rest in comparison to us. Let's hope that works against them tomorrow rather than for them. There's no doubt Brendan Rodgers is going to make changes to the team tomorrow. You'd expect him to make numerous changes. He has done at different times this season. That's been the thread, and we've actually done very, very well in terms of maintaining the results, but avoiding injuries as well. That is, though, not forgoing the fact that Paulo Bernardo is now going to be out for 4 or 5 weeks, as Brendan Rodgers confirmed today. So that's a bit of a blow for us. Again, McCowan, Bernardo, they've played a lot of minutes coming in. So to go without Bernardo for the next 4 or 5 weeks, we've got more Scottish Cup games to come. The derby on the horizon next month. Obviously, the big game on Tuesday as well. So the games don't really let up, and I think it's good for the manager to have Bernardo there, because he's been a good player to come in and play the minutes that he has done. So it's a bit of a blow that he's out, but other than that, we've done relatively well with injuries. We can't complain. 9 changes last week against Wraith Rovers. How many will it be tomorrow? Not as much as 9, I don't think, but there's definitely some key players who will need a rest tomorrow, who have played the last 3-4 games, and with a view to Tuesday, he's going to want all the key players in top condition to go and try and impact that game on Tuesday night in Munich. So let's turn our attention then to the starting lineup. Kasper Schmeichel will be in goals. I think he played well the other night. He had a couple of good saves. The one from Gnabry, second half, low at his feet. Gnabry smashes it left foot, and he does really well to sort of stop it going through his legs. He had a good save for Kane in the first half, albeit that was offside, the header down into the ground. Not, as I say though, not peppered in any way. Not like he had to make save after save after save, and it was a bit rope-a-dope and we were clinging on. It was nothing like that. But credit to him, because he did make saves in the game. I think he's helpless, really. But it's definitely helpless with the first goal. I mean, my God, Elise just smashes it into the top corner. You'd have 2 Kasper Schmeichels in there, and I don't think we'd have saved it. And then the second goal, again, he can't really look too much on the goalkeeper. It's the marking in front of him that's let him down. Back 4, I think there will be some changes to the back 4 tomorrow. I can't really make my mind up where they'll be, though. I've gone Johnston at right back, Carter Vickers, Scales and Schlupp. So you could have Ralston coming in, as he did a couple of weeks back. Carter Vickers, having missed a game against Aston Villa and obviously had these niggling injuries over the last 18 months, you could make a case for him coming out and it being Scales and Trusty, a partnership we've seen from time to time this season. I've just gone with Carter Vickers because, again, I think he's important for us, and he did recover really quickly. I think that was just precaution that he missed that game against Villa. So I've just gone with Carter Vickers, Scales to replace Trusty, maybe give Trusty a bit of a rest. And I've gone for Schlupp to come in for Taylor. Again, I just think give Taylor a rest. He's played a lot of football. Schlupp's come in and looked okay. He needs more minutes just to get up to a decent level of fitness and sharpness. I think tomorrow's a good opportunity to do that. In midfield, I think McGregor will play. Bernardo being out makes it really difficult, I think, to rest Callum McGregor. I think there's been times this season, on a few occasions, where Bernardo has come in and played in that deeper position. We haven't really seen it too much from Engels. Maybe Luke McCowan once or twice at periods in games, but makes it difficult for the manager, I think, to rest Callum McGregor tomorrow. I think he'll play. I think Engels will play, and I think McCowan will complete the midfield. Luke McCowan coming in, he's an ideal player to come in these types of games. Again, he can maybe look at himself as a bit hard done by not to get minutes the other night, but I think coming into this game, in terms of keeping the intensity up and knowing exactly what's required in these games, he's an absolutely ideal squad player for Brendan Rodgers at the minute. Arne Engels, having watched the game back, I do admit that I was probably a bit harsh on him. The 3 things that stood out in my mind were in the first half, where I think he did grow into the game. I think if you look at the first half, I think I said this a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if it was a young boys game, where he's receiving the ball in our defensive half with his back to the play, maybe a man at his shoulder, and I think those times are where he can look nervous, and that's the thing that he really needs to improve on, because I think when he's got the game in front of him, he's brilliant. I think in forward areas, when he gets time on the ball, even in that sort of right space and the sort of in between the touchline and his sort of right central midfield position, he can whip in a lovely cross, as we've seen on Wednesday night on a couple of occasions. He had a lovely intelligent cutback for Hatate in the second half as well. The 3 in the first half were just that one where he gets played in the edge of the box. He's really, I think it's one of the few occasions he's not under too much pressure on the edge of the box with the Bayern press, and he just plays it out to Alistair Johnston, who isn't there. He's just got no awareness that Johnson has come in to defend and there's nobody out there, just goes out for a Bayern throw. There was one where he just got away, looked like we'd worked it really well, played in a wee triangle, and I think it was McGregor that released him, and he's got a chance to run at the Bayern Munich defence, and then Sané got back at him and muscled him off it. That stood out as well, and then I think Hatate tried to play a ball into him. It was a poor ball from Hatate, don't get me wrong, but I just thought on the edge of the box, Goretzka was with him, and Goretzka read the situation much quicker than Engels. So those were the three things that were probably coloured my judgment when I replied to Stuart saying that he was excellent. I think he was good on the night, but again, I would make the distinction between having to play in front of him in forward areas. He's very good. I think the things he needs to brush up on and develop, which we all know, he's a young player who needs to still develop, is that side of the game where he's receiving the ball, whether it be on the half turn or with his back to the opposition goal in his own half under pressure. You're looking for him to be a lot tidier on it and a lot more composed in terms of picking passes and understanding what his options are with his teammates round about him. I think there's a bit of a perception war going on with Arne Engels, and there has been for a long time, and I've actually been, if you watch this channel, you know that I've been on the side of it where I think people have been absolutely ridiculous in their opinions on Arne Engels. I think he's clearly got huge talent, going to grow into a brilliant player for Celtic, and I think people have been far too harsh on him because of the price tag. That is the thing that I've been saying. I think some people in the comments the other night tarred me with that brush as if I've just decided that I don't like him. I misjudged it. I gave an opinion that once I watched the game back, again being there in the stadium and lost in the excitement at times. I think the excitement at the period in the second half where we got a spell of pressure, and he did have some really nice moments, is probably where again you tend to I've obviously just forgot that a wee bit in the excitement of things. He was better than I gave him credit for, but again, it doesn't have to be this sort of polarised way where he's either terrible and a waste of 11 million or he's the best player in the world and we need to build a team around about him and he's absolutely amazing. There's lots of nuance, but again, the online discourse doesn't really allow for that. That's why we try and bring you on this channel. Right, front three changes. Yang on the right hand side, Jota on the left, and I'm going Ida through the middle. I think Ida, having played 65 minutes the other night, will be in a position to play tomorrow. I don't think, again, we have the luxury of playing Johnny Kenny or Daniel Cummings. Anybody like that is not an option in this game. Dundee United have a good season. They can make life difficult for you. We have to play Ida because we can't play Dyson Maeda, I wouldn't think, because I've not got Maeda in either of the wide positions, given that he's played so often in the last four matches. I think he's played the last 90 minutes. He's absolutely ran himself into the ground, and we know that he's superhuman at times, and he never looks tired, he never seems tired, he rarely gets injured, but that doesn't mean you can just continue to run him into the ground. I think Tuesday's a big night for us. We need him to be fit and available, and there's no chance that we can just keep turning him out 90 minutes for the effort and the work rate that he puts into games. You can't just keep playing him because it might come back to bite you, and we've seen it in different clubs around Europe. Injuries are prevalent because there's so many games in the new European formats, the number of cup games there is, number of competitions you play in nowadays. It can take its toll on players, so I think Dyson is a definite rest for tomorrow. Jota, brilliant to come in, great to have that luxury to bring him in now that Palma's gone. He's replaced him, so to speak. Yang, we spoke about him after the game, had a really positive impact on things on Wednesday. I think the last couple of Champions League games, obviously brilliant making one against Leipzig, good again the other night. Maybe it is just a bit of a different prospect when he's playing in the domestic games against packed defences. He maybe gets a wee bit more space to travel with the ball and just go and find areas and be a threat. I think he was that the other night. He obviously keeps the ball alive and gets the assist for Maeda's header. And I think he had a good showing all round. I'm still not convinced. I think he's a player that suits being an impact sub. If he has to start this game tomorrow, he's had a couple of starts this season where he's looked really, really underwhelming. Sometimes as an impact sub, it's a different prospect and he's looked bright and he's changed the game and he's helped us. If he does get the start tomorrow, again, you're looking for him to have that influence in the game from the beginning. I think there is players, we've seen them over the years at Celtic, who have that sort of nature. Haksabanovic is a recent one that springs to mind, where he'd often come off the bench and you think he needs a start. I'd give him a couple of starts and see how he gets on, and then every time he started, he would never perform at the same level. That might be what the deal is with Yang as well. I suppose we'll just need to wait and see. But there you go. That's the lineup I think the manager will go with tomorrow. I did get it right on Wednesday. I think it was the 11th time this season, which is no bad. I'll take it. I'll take as many as I can get. So 11 for the season. I'll need to look up how many games in all competitions there's been. Try and come up with a bit of success rate. It's not looking good though, because there's probably been easy upward of 40 games so far, and I've got 11 right. But that's the team I think you'll go with tomorrow. I think that's 5 changes from the team on Wednesday. Like the video, give us your own thoughts on who you think will start tomorrow. Who would you rest? Who would you bring in? And we'll see tomorrow after the game with the full-time reaction. And the post-match pint is back from Malone's as well. Thank you.